Good morning. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Williamson County Board of Commissioners regularly scheduled monthly meeting. It's Tuesday, December 9th, 2025. It's 10:01 a.m. Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Present.
Jim Marlowe.
Present.
Jim Razor.
This time, I'll ask everybody to rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Appreciation. Would you listen first?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Thank you for the blessings you bring to us each and every day. So thankful for providing us with peace and comfort, especially during this hectic season when we celebrate the birth of your Son and our Savior. We're thankful you're with our first responders, our armed forces that are scattered all over this globe, putting themselves in harm's way to keep us safe as we live here in the greatest nation. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Well, good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is getting prepared for Christmas. My wife has her shopping done already, so I'm happy. All right, well, why don't we start off with the consent agenda today? Gentlemen, did you have the opportunity to read through the minutes and various reports?
Yes.
Were there any changes or significant issues or anything like that we need to discuss? A motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Razor.
Okay, moving on down to the highway department. So George, you have a couple of things for us. Yes.
Yeah, first on the list is a resolution for maintenance. This would be our resolution for all of our motor fuel tax expenditure on the county side, not the county unit side. But the county side. It's approximately $2 million, and that's all of our supplies, our salt, our equipment, our labor reimbursement. Not to mention any improvements that we want to do with which we do have a couple improvements on story this year. Those are, right now, we're looking at the skyline resurfacing from the Marion Sports Complex up to the new roundabout. We'll pay that fuel tax. And then just, like I said, our day-to-day operations is that too.
You're going to pay that? So
Yes,
pay
gonna
that?
pay that. Yes, sir.
What's the time frame on that? George?
You know, we're gonna get that out and get a contractor there as soon as we can. We're looking at it.
Okay, you're going to put shoulders on that?
Yes, some shoulders. Yes, sir.
Because that's
Yeah,
seems to be a pretty narrow road.
it is. It is. It just feels narrow. You know, it measures out approximately 11.5 foot. But I really think it's because of the lack of shoulder. I
Well,
think
that,
just-
you got that tree line right there.
Yes.
That's almost like a wall.
Yes, absolutely. It does. It does.
I always hated that because of
Yeah.
deer hiding.
Yeah.
Jump
Always feel like
out.
they're gonna jump
Absolutely.
right out. Yeah.
You know, in all seriousness, I smoked a wild turkey there. And I wasn't driving
On the
fast
side
enough,
of the
but
road.
it was, yeah, he just come out of nowhere. And, yeah.
I was, yeah, that's where my mind.
Did you get an invitation?
That's funny. Yeah, yeah. Just got a new car and hit a wild turkey. That's the only one I've ever hit. But,
Okay, that's resolution 25-12-09-76. Is that correct?
that's correct. Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we accept resolution 25-12-09-76, resolution for maintenance of the Illinois Highway Code. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Yes.
Jim Razor.
And the next one, resolution for improvements.
Okay, this is an improvement we have. We were the recipient of a ITEC grant, traffic enhancement for Wolf Creek overpass there in Carterville. And then And then I don't know if you guys remember, but from that overpass to Old 13 is still unimproved road, oil and chip road. So we're going to finally pave that up nice. But in addition to that, we're putting a multi-use bike trail on the east side of Wolf Creek to attach the Carterville loop to the refuge. So that's a much needed improvement. This is the phase 1 and 2 of that, which is the environmental preliminary studies and the design. Horner Schifrin has been picked to do this. And that 10,000 would be our 10%.
That's our max.
Match. Yes, absolutely.
Is that a 90-10?
It's a 90-10.
97?
Yeah.
And do you have any timeframe or maybe completed after this survey?
Unfortunately, it's a very slow process. There's about a year of study that goes into that, and then the plans won't take. I foresee next winter doing the design, and then next construction season.
All right. Anybody have any questions?
Make a motion that we approve resolution number 25-12-09-77, resolution for improvement under the Illinois Highway.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Yes.
Jim Raisman.
Yes. You know, George,
Yes, sir.
where Wolf Creek connects into 13, what I found out was that I guess there's quite a few potholes around the area there. And it's kind of like collaboration of county, state, federal, depending where the pothole is located.
Absolutely.
You know, so ours would be just to the road, just to the intersection.
Just to the intersection. Yes. From the edge of the pavement north should be us.
I think when it goes south in the refuge area, that's already paved.
Right. Yes.
And similar to comment, I've taken calls in that intersection concerned with the drainage. Is there any drainage? I understand we've got the survey coming up. This is what else we need, but this is just paving.
This
not
is
addressing
just,
any of that.
yeah, right, right. We may be able to help a little bit of that. I know that some of that quote unquote closed drainage, there's a little bit of curb and gutter there that I'm certain isn't working. And there's a lot of water comes off the bridge side. You know, it drains everything from the bridges to the highway. So there's a lot of water comes down that hill. And that will be addressed in the study. And of course, new culverts or new drainage is good. Could happen. Yeah.
Excellent. Anything else on this? George, you have a third one for us?
Yes, this is Nixco Road, Township Road. There was a structure built on that road by the coal mines years ago, and it's over just a Hollywood. So it was for the mine's internal purpose. Well, the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, the mines are paying for us to take that bridge completely out and put an embankment in there. And we welcome that to get a bridge off of our list of inspections. And it just so happens that bridge is having a few issues. Nothing dire, but it is having some issues. So it's a good time to get that off of our list. So they want us to local let that, meaning that we can have it running in our office and choose a contractor and all the agreements are in place. We just have to accept it.
Travis, I think Travis brought this to us about 2 years ago. I think the first time we talked about this process takes forever.
Takes forever. Yes, sir.
If I understand this correctly, this is more or less an intergovernmental agreement that you're asking us to do.
Yes, absolutely.
Curiosity of it, this is a whole structure.
It is.
If I remember it. Where's all the backfill going to come from?
You know, in our business, we leave that up to the contractor. It has to be suitable embankment. meaning the moisture content and the type of embankment has to be improved. But after that, I'm certain that Mr. Settles has something there that he could help with. But they could bring it from wherever they have to provide.
It's pretty close to his property. Like
It is, yeah,
So-
yeah,
so
yeah.
Just for efficiency, like for
absolutely,
so close.
yeah. And with, like you said, it's so far down there, they're almost gonna need to be down there to bring dirt. You can't dump it. Is what we would like to do. We do have a fine window of that bridge when the road will be closed. As far as wrecking the bridge out to back open, it's tight, 3 minutes. 3 minutes. So hopefully he can build or a contractor can build some of that embankment underneath the existing structure while traffic's still running and get a lot of that material on site.
The Hall Road, what happens to the Hall Road? Who owns the Hall Road? I guess the mine still owns it.
The mines did, we bought it. We bought the property. Okay.
Okay. Gentlemen, this is basically a intergovernmental agreement. That we're agreeing today. And who is it? Is that the state? This is the
The Illinois Department of
Illinois
Natural
Department
Resources.
of Natural Resources. This is not I.
Correct. We are using IDOT forms just for the sake of these.
Yeah. Brett, I had you look at this, and I'm struggling for a title for this motion. What would we call this?
I mean, you would approve an intergovernmental agreement with the Illinois Department of Natural Resources.
Okay, that would be sufficient for this? Okay. Then I make a motion that we approve this intergovernmental agreement between Williamson County and the Department of Natural Resources as presented.
Second.
Okay, any other conversation? Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Reiser.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to tell us today?
No, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you for your time. All right, moving on down to old business. Today we have a 708 board opioid funding applications. And 708 board, you guys are receiving applications from people, from organizations that are wanting to use opioid funds for treatments. And you're vetting those applications for us, and then you're going to be providing monitoring of those funds as they're given to you, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Emma, would you like to hear a little bit about the process about vetting? Michelle, could you give us a rundown of how you vetted these, what you did with that?
Yeah. So about 3 years ago, we came up with an RFP process for our 708 funds. And basically, we are doing the very same process for the opioid funds as we are doing for our 708 funds. So what we do is we put out an RFP to the general public, any organization that is a not-for-profit that wants to apply for the RFP or for the grant money is able to. We do have a checklist of things that qualify the agency. So it has to be, related to something that the grant funds can cover. In the case of the 708 board, it's substance use disorders, mental health, and developmental disabilities. So obviously with the opioid funds, we worked with our state's attorney, and we kind of mirrored it more towards just the opioid funds and what those would qualify for people that were applying. And so obviously they have to be more in involved with these substance use disorders rather than the other, but it does include mental health disorders as well. So what we did was we customized that agreement and that RFP. We put that out for just a specified period of time. We had 3 different agencies that applied for it. What we are looking at for the opioid funds would not be something that is completely sustainable by opioid funds because we don't know how much we're going to get. So we're looking at maybe one-time use funds or something that would expand or create a new program in Williamson County, and that is what we were looking for. So again, we're looking for things that aren't maybe already existing that we can continue to fund from here on out. They do understand that this is one-time use funds. There's no promise or anything that they will get those funds again next
No
year.
guarantee of future.
Absolutely not. So the 3 that we had submitted to us, one was around the Williamson County Fire Department, and it was for a special chair that they can use to go into homes. I did speak with the fire chief about it, and he explained to me that other 7 boards have been approving this particular chair because they are facing so many opioid overdoses. And when they get into the houses, a lot of times they have either a lot of clutter or they have stairs or it's the people where they end up. They're very difficult to get to. Obviously, the quicker they can get to the folks, the quicker they can get them treatment and maybe save a life. So that's a one-time deal to purchase the chair and something that would help all of Williamson County.
Actually, point of clarification on that. Slightly meeting. Fire.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that one's.
Sorry, thank you for that. And, of course, being down at Lake of Egypt, he also explained that, the situation with a lot of the houses down there, they do have stairs, they're very steep, it's very difficult to get into some of the houses. So that is why he applied for this funding.
Julie, would you like to take these one at a time?
Yeah, whatever you guys want to do, I can try to explain it. The best I can. It's been a bit since we discussed all of these, so if it takes me a minute to kind of remember what we discussed, and we asked all the same questions that I'm sure that you're going to be asking, so I'll try to answer the best I can.
Chair, you want me to comment on what you're looking at?
Yes, please.
I think it's important to remind you what all these funds are, where they come from, what they're for, what they are. I've obviously had lots of conversations with Michelle about this. But as a reminder to all 3 of you, as you recall, the Illinois opioid settlement came from a national class action. The Illinois Attorney General entered into that class action on behalf of the individual counties in the state of Illinois. Williamson County then applies for its share of the opioid funds. Those funds are given to this county based upon how the Attorney General and the class action determines the amount of citizens in Williamson County that are affected by the opioid crisis to the best of their ability. And as such, the funds that are given to this county are earmarked specifically for the residents of Williamson County and only Williamson County. Every single county has their own opportunity to obtain opioid funds, but the money we receive won't be the same as Johnson County, won't be the same as Saline County. It's not everybody gets their fair share. It's based upon the amount of cases, the amount of activity and opioid abuse in your county. So I think when you hear these applications, the first thing that comes to mind is what are each of these applications offering the people of Williamson County? And the agencies involved need to be very intimately aware that those funds are not to be put into the coffers for their greater countywide distribution. It is simply directed for the benefit of the people of Williamson County. Opioid abusers, opioid affected individuals in this county. And when they say that it's for opioid abuse, specifically, the mental health and substance abuse component are collateral to opioid users. So if it is an individual that does not have an opioid addiction, which is highly unusual for substance abuse individuals not to have them, they don't qualify for the use of these funds. They have to, mental health and the substance abuse has to be collateral to the opioid use in order to satisfy these guidelines. And these guidelines that we received from the federal government, federal settlement, they are not, what's the word I'm looking for? they're not discretionary, they are required. It's much like the funds that you got from ARPA, where they were very specifically detailed. This is how you have to use it. Violation of this can be a violation of federal law, and we could land in federal court. Now, I'm giving you a lot of fire and brimstone simply to remind you that these applications, I like their applications. I'm not suggesting that they're bad, but we have to be careful in this county, in this board, and 708 board to make sure that these uses are detailed specifically to the set. There will be more funds that come into the county. It's a continuing amount of money that we receive. I've already been notified by our attorney who's handling this for us that there's going to be more checks coming in. So we'll continue to have these funds, and it's great because it can benefit agencies such as this that are doing a great job in battling the epidemic. But I just want to make sure you remember on the front end that we have very specific guidelines that we are required to follow. And we certainly end up in a very bad place if we don't. So it's much like the ARPA funds. But I'll let Ms. Hamilton talk about the uses and the intended purposes.
And with that being said, I think that just justifies why the 708 board should be vetting these applications and these RFPs, because we have 7 people who are dedicated to going through these with a fine-tooth comb and making sure that they are fitting the requirements of the funding. So we're not the only 708 board that's doing this. But I think that if it were just, any of you in this room trying to do, it'd be very difficult because you have so many other things to focus on. This is our focus.
Michelle, how do you, because State's Attorney Hampson brought up a good point in that these funds are for Williamson County. And two of the 3 applications that you have are entities that are outside this county also. And what assurances do we have that those funds would stay in Williamson County? When we did the ARPA funds, we had a handful of entities that this county and Sylvan were Johnson Union. And we insisted the money stayed here, and they provided us that information.
Right.
So in your monitoring of this, what process are you going to use that will ensure that money stays in this county, is used for?
Right, and so what we've done is we have quarterly reports that have to be provided to us. We do have a grant monitor who goes through each of the quarterly reports before we get them, summarizes them, makes sure that the funding is being used like it's supposed to be used and where it's supposed to be used. And then once we determine that the money is being used appropriately, then we will submit the next quarter's funding. So we're not just giving them a lump sum right at the beginning and saying, hey, go have fun, and then we'll see at the end of the year. We are monitoring it as we go along. We used to meet 4 times a year as a board. Now we're meeting double that amount. And again, we've got a professional grant writer who is monitoring these for us and making sure that we, are meeting all of the requirements.
One of these, where it's listed under personnel, okay, these look like they're upper management, they're maybe not the people providing the treatment, and please correct me if I'm wrong, this is just the information I have.
Right.
Okay, are these folks, are they the ones that are running that particular LFC, or are these people actually going to be treatment services?
So in the 2 cases that you're talking about with your task and Shawnee Health, like you said, they do cover multiple different areas. And so they have grant writers or grant facilitators that are in their corporate offices. But no, they are not the ones that will be actually doing the work. So with task, we did have the regional director come in. His name's Brad Bullock. He came in and we had a very long, very healthy conversation with him for about an hour about how those funds would be utilized and who's going to receive them. So his office is in Williamson County, and those funds that come to Williamson County from the Williamson County 708 board will stay in Williamson County, and he will make sure that that happens because he's going to be the one that will oversee that. They just happen to have a person in Chicago that writes the RFPs.
And he'll be able to divide his time so that the people being treated for the substance abuse, he'll be able to divide his time out and give us.
He's over different areas, but like I said, they have an office in Williamson County over across from the airport. And so his Williamson County office will make sure that the funds that go to Williamson County stay in Williamson County.
Did they give us a reason? I mean, maybe I'm just asking too many questions here, I don't know. But the people that are providing the treatment, why would they be receiving these funds instead of management? Does that question make sense?
Well, if you look at the RFPs and you look at, for instance, with TASC, TASC works with multiple organizations. And when you're looking at some of the folks that they're dealing with, and this becomes a very complex issue and probably one of the main reasons that you can't fix the problems, okay? When you're looking at these folks, there's so many different entities that they're dealing with. It's not just treatment. So they're working with treatment, medical providers, they're working with housing, people that can help with housing. There's a myriad of issues that go with substance use disorders. So there's no one agency that can just fix it or take care of it. If you look at Shawnee Health Services, Centerstone, any of those, they all have to have partnerships in place to be able to take care of one person. Again, they've got multiple issues going on. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about these particular projects that Shawnee and TASC are both doing. That's what they're doing. They're giving, they're going to someone who has nobody advocating for them or somebody who has nobody but themselves and they're a mess, right? So they've got these peer support people that are coming in and saying, okay, here's what we're going to do. First of all, we're going to give you some treatment. And then you're unhoused, so we're going to find you some adequate housing. And then you've got, you've got high blood pressure and you've got all these other medical issues. So we're going to go to up here and we're going to get you in the doctor and get you seen. And then you've got children that, that are out in the system somewhere, and we're going to try to help you get reconnected with your children. So there's a multiple different things going on with these people to be able to fix what seems like an easy problem of just substance use disorder. That's just not the case. So that's what I love about the peer support specialist coming into Williamson County and coming up to the guy that's digging through the dumpster and saying, hey buddy, you're living on the streets, what's going on? I lost everything because I got on opioids and now I've lost my family. My health is a mess. I don't know where to live. And I'm just stealing to buy drugs. Okay, let's break it down and let's work on you as a person and get all of the support you need. So that's what these folks are doing. Even at the homeless problem, as you well know, and you guys get it all the time, because people are like, why doesn't the mayor just take care of the homeless problem? It's not that simple. So we have to have people like boots on the street finding these folks and getting them help they need. People, you go down to the Promise and you see the folks in there. Some of those folks literally probably have the mentality of a 7-year-old, right? But they're not getting services. They don't even know where to go get services. They don't even know they need services, some of them. But they don't have anybody advocating for them. So that's what we're looking at here. Same thing with the other one is the Shawnee Health Services, and you were talking about that. A lot of this is it's prevention and education, which we also don't have, as you know. They used to have the DARE program. Now they just the health teachers are remember to talk about it with the kids. These are real programs that are going into our schools in Williamson County, and they're dealing with students who either are prone to substance use disorders, or they're dealing with their parents who have substance use disorders because of opioids, but they are getting right in the trenches with them and they're working with them to try to get them to their lives turned around before they go any further. So again, I think these are some great programs. I think we've got some people that have really gotten together and put their heads together and looked at the needs of Williamson County. And this money is something that's going to help address those needs and take care of some of those niches and just to make our community healthier, and stronger, and really get in there and try to start helping people. People just can't, people who really can't help themselves. That's the way I look at these programs. And I think that's the way the board is looking at it. We want things that are different, new, upcoming, that are aggressive and are really in the trenches.
Do you have any questions?
Probably more of a comment, Chairman. This whole process has become very frustrating for me personally, because I want to see this money in play. I want to see it doing good for the community. And the rules and stipulations make it so darn difficult to approve some of these things.
That's why I'm asking these questions.
It's required me to do a lot of reading and research to try and make sure that we're not making mistakes, because we've heard of counties that maybe they didn't break any rules with the way they used their ARPA money, but now they're finding themselves in difficulty because they were using that for things that referred. So we've got to avoid some of that as well. So when the question came to my mind of can this money be used for salaries and benefits, I did a lot of reading over the last couple of days. And some of the words that I came across were things like only if positions are directly tied to opioid abatement activities. And that came actually then with 3 titles of positions. That was opioid response coordinators, addiction counselors, and peer recovery specialists. I can tie that one to the task application, which at first, when I saw that it was from Chicago, my immediate question is, how do I have an assurance that money is going to stay in Williamson County? This could just be blended with all of their money and very easily go other places. From Michelle's description, I feel a little more confident that we are talking about a position being created in Williamson County. And I noticed that in their application, they did use the title of peer recovery specialist. So I have a little more understanding why that one might be okay, but just the opposite with the Shawnee, which is an organization that we know has a base here in Williamson County. But 2 of the no-goes on this were no to administrative costs not linked to abatement, and no supplanting budgets to free up funds. And even in Michelle's answer, and the folks that are listed that would be paid from this money, it's all administrators.
It's all administrators.
So to me, this falls under the no category.
Well, which is why I was asking, are they going to be able to break out the time? In my understanding, they're going to have to tie their time that they're taking these funds.
Right, and not, this application can be redone to point the money towards one of these 3 titles, to where we know that's where it's going. But I think as it's submitted to us, at least from the rules I've read, I don't know that it qualifies, but I've got 2 attorneys at least in the room.
Well,
Is my interpretation off?
No, one of the questions that I had listening to Ted and Michelle was, is there going to be an audit of the funds? Like, how do we know once the funds, even if they put in the application, they're going to be utilized for this? How do we know that the end game, it was in fact not used to defer other funds for general use, et cetera? So,
Through the quarterly reports.
and that's kind of what you had answered. But what happens if it doesn't? Do we have a contract with them that they have to pay us back so that we don't get in trouble, or what are we doing? In ARPA, that's what we had, is we had an agreement that they had to use them, and if they didn't use them, then they owed us that money back.
Yes, and I know that when state's attorney and I went through all of the contracts, I know we kind of mirrored them after the ARPA contracts, so we got all of the verbiage in there. So we went from like 2 pages to 15. So
We're attorneys.
I know you are, and so I think we got it all in there.
There's a lot of clawback language in there, just like in the ARPA. If
Good.
you misappropriate, we can claw back the funds. And then some.
And your question with Shawnee, I do remember, when we spoke with Shawnee about this, they have some folks that are, kind of serving dual roles. And if we're able to have this, if they're able to utilize this fund, they will be 100% dedicated to Williamson County in this project.
Commissioner Razor, where did you get the language for those three specific identifiers?
I just did a lot of searching and
My interpretation of the actual language from the settlement doesn't put limitation on positions, just that that position is focused on the opioid. So if they wanted to hire somebody whose primary purpose was to create a DARE-like program for the purposes of going to the community to speak to school children about opioid addictions and whatnot, I think they could pay their salary from this month. As long as that position is squarely, I agree with you, the administrator's concerned. But if you have someone who's a peer support specialist or somebody works under a peer support specialist whose entire job is to go out in the community and help opioid addicted individuals find jobs, pay their rent, all these things qualify. For example, in the program is that you can get money to our drug court program so that they can use our own probation officers and use them to funnel money back to opioid addicts who are in our drug court program. Those would be one of the three positions. I don't know that the county can use it to pay the salaries out of the county, but the point is, there's a lot of different types of ways to get this money back. So I don't think it's limited to those three types of hiring. For example, you could also bring in, you can hire a law enforcement officer under the law enforcement section in the settlement. You can hire an EMS, someone with the EMS whose primary focus for the EMS is to go to the schools and work solely with opioid addicted individuals and or collateral. Freshen or collateral substance abuse. Because if you have substance abuse that's not related to opioid addiction, this money does not go to it. Cannot use this money just for any substance abuse. They know how to tie that back in because everyone who gets substance abuse usually has an opioid addiction. But if they somehow don't, you can't use it for this. But they can use it to hire people to combat this problem. That's what the money's for. Like, so I'd be curious to see where you came up with that. I'm not
I have to
suggesting.
dig it up, and I'll be glad to do that later.
Yeah, I know. But I think you probably can use it for these purposes under the terms of the actual federal agreement.
I do know that Shawnee's, I mean, they're very aware and they're very knowledgeable about the opioid settlement funding. Even they even mention it right specifically within their program, that their services, Williamson County residents in accordance with the approved abatement uses and core strategies of the Illinois opioid allocation agreement. So, I mean, they made a clear point that they're knowledgeable about the program and what's that?
It's a very well-written grant. They know exactly what the target is.
So I have a quick question on Shawnee, because I know they serve multiple counties.
Yes,
Do they have one central location that does the drug rehab? And so everybody comes to the Carterville location for that program? So a Jackson County resident comes to Carter, or do they have separate ones?
no, they have
for each?
separate ones. Marion has their own behavioral, Jackson County. Not to say that a Jackson County person can't come to Williamson County, but that.
One thing I would like to say, getting back to task, number one, I do sit on this 7. I was not present at the time that they voted on selecting this. I was out of town. But if you do look at under the need program on this section, under task talks about there's a growing need in a growing number of vulnerable populations for due to a lack of transportation and social services. And it goes on to say, TASC has 37 clients in Williamson County, including 13 unhoused clients. TASC is planning an intentional expansion of engagement services in this county to meet the growing need for services amongst potential clients. Due to the lack of residential treatment centers in Williamson County, significant travel, in quotations, 3+ hours, is required to transport clients to treatment. Now, if you look at the requirements, and I'm sure we all have, the opioid transportation, it's pretty broad what that could be used for. Transportation is one of those items that could be used for. The only concern that I would have, as Ted has talked about, in the salaries of the administration. Those dollars would be going to benefit those individual seniors. So I will abstain since I do see seven. But I just want to bring up the point that transportation does fall.
Any other questions for me?
I don't think I have any questions.
No, I don't think so.
I'm just not, I'm not where I need to be on Shawnee Health. I just don't know if we can give that money to their controlling leadership of their salaries. We need to show that that's going to be spent. And hopefully, it's going to be said. That's my thought. And I don't think I've heard anything yet. So you change my mind. Ask that they listed and have a person, whatever, right, and I think that with a person, and I believe Commissioner Barnes figured out their expansion plans and do that. And I agree with that, I think that's a viable place. And the Lake of Egypt, I agree with that. Purchasing that chair. I just don't know on Shawnee.
And I think for me, that very similar concerns as your chairman. Even if I just got a definition of what does a clinical behavioral health director do? That's back to is this an administrative position or is this directly working in the abatement? And that's where I'm hung up. I mean, again, I want to see this money in play. It's not that I don't want to allocate the money. I just want to make sure we're playing by the rules. Anyway,
I don't get where I don't see where you're saying it's all going to be integrated because.
that was my research and reading and the rules that apply to us.
Because 78% of the proposed budget is going towards for the staff that are going to be doing getting out to the community and doing these programs.
But they list the personnel to be directly funded by 708 funds as a clinical behavioral health director, clinical case management coordinator. I mean, these sound like administrators to me. That could be my ignorance. If they come in and tell me what they do, I can swing on that.
Yeah.
A clinical case manager, right? Again, I just don't know what their semantics.
Never mind. Are we seeing that incorrectly?
Based upon the application that funding you read it correctly. I don't think that further explanation would be very difficult. So
Yeah, I
you
think-
provide that and award it at a later date. It certainly doesn't terminate the opportunities.
So not at all.
Further explanation is all that's needed.
Right.
I don't see a problem with that. I think the problem is you don't have the benefit of the original 708 meeting. They met these groups and heard what was said by Fund Shawnee. Maybe that's something we talk about in the process in the future, maybe. But since you don't have the knowledge, then perhaps it's just so that it's not a no, it's a please further explain.
Yeah, just give us more information on Shawnee. That's one.
I mean, it's one.
Okay, would you like to go on the other two?
Sure.
Do you want me to ask for the job descriptions of those particular folks that are listed?
I think for, when it's administration, yes, and how they plan out detail, how those hours are, however they pay themselves, how that's spent on each one. So telling us, yeah, what they're doing is part of of this opioid plan and the amount of time that they're spending the payments associated
Within Williamson County.
within Williamson County. All of this has to be.
Yeah.
Did I say that good enough for you? Okay. Anything else before I'll ask for a vote? Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the individual transportation opioid application for $47,967. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Abstain.
Jim Razor.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we accept Task Incorporated's application for opioid settlement. $123,840. Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Abstain.
Jim Razor.
Okay, do you want me to call the last one, or do we just want to send that back?
Rather not vote no on it.
Okay, you can send that back to Michelle, thank you, get that to us. And we'll have another meeting, probably for the end of the month. Okay? Any questions, have them reach out to us. Commissioner Razor's done a lot of research on this. If you want to reach out to him, that would be fine. If we need to talk to you, that would be fine.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything else in old business? New business. I have a board appointment for Greater Egypt Economic Development Commission. I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess I just right past that. Yeah, at this time of year, we select a new chairman for the upcoming year. And I guess we'll open up nominations. This is the nomination for chairman.
Move to nominate Tim Atkinson, chairman for year 2026. Second.
I guess I'm gonna accept. All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other comment? Roll call, please.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Razor.
Yeah.
Tim Atkinson.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate your confidence.
We
We don't have to move chairs. The meetings are usually sloppy, but we get the job done. That's the end. Like I said, what's that? We just, all we gotta do is move the signs. All right, moving on down, to Greater Egypt, Board appointment. Jeff Robinson's been on one of our appointments on this board for several years, and he's currently the chairman of that, planning and development, regional development board. I talked to him, he's eager to continue to provide service on that board for the county, represent us there. And I have a letter from Carrie Dennis, the executive director there, and it was recommending that him to be reappointed. So I'm gonna make the motion that we accept resolution number 25-12-09-78 to reappoint Jeff Robinson to a 4-year term. A 3-year term, I'm sorry, it's a 3-year term. And his term expires at the end of December, the 31st. And his new term will be expiring on December 31st of 2028.
Mr. Chairman, I do have one question.
Yes, sir.
About this, just to make sure, I think Jeff is a good selection for this. He's been on for quite a while. But is there any requirement that he be part of the county?
No, he's an outlaw. When he originally came on,
He is the outlaw.
Yeah.
Okay.
when he originally came on, he was
Assessor.
assessor, right, supervisor of assessment.
Right, and I know it's changed over time, so that's my question. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
That I forgot that they did have one. So
He
he
would
is
be
the-
that lower stage. Okay,
I'll second it.
any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson. Jim Marlowe.
Okay.
Jim Razor.
I will say Jeff he does an excellent job. Yes. Okay, at this point, we'll move down to public comment. Is there anyone here who'd like to make a public comment?
Thank you for this time. So the regional office is very efficient of this basically being given across the street. And a few weeks ago, Mr. Marlowe was kind enough to show us around just some available space that the county has. And we are needing some additional space. And so we're requesting the use of the two vacant spaces on the third floor for the use of some of our student programs. This is Miss Jenny Turner. She's our alternative learning opportunities program director. And that program is growing quickly. And so just allowing, when we have opportunities to hire new people, one of the first things we ask is, where are we going to put them? And so that's a good problem to have. So we're just asking for use of those two office spaces. One was Celeste and the other was Casa. Before they moved.
Any thoughts on that, Jim?
I was contacted by Lori. I did show her around. I showed her those offices down there that are temporary. They're slated for demolition, but just temporary. I showed her those offices up there. I asked Lori to come. Is there anything she has? I want to
Sure.
decide to give the okay or not, as far as letting those offices. I personally see that if they're not there, vacant. I have a problem with it personally.
Just the two, and is this temporary? You may have said it, I'm sorry.
I'm not sure right now. I'm still up in the air.
Well, by temporary, I meant that that building. was
That
always-
building is temporary,
was
yeah.
temporary on Jackson Street.
Yeah, we thought this would be a better location. We would prefer it to be closer to us. It's nice to, for everyone to be in the same office space, but we have 19 people employed in that office, and we have 11 offices. So when they did the remodeling, we were kind of jokingly taking some closet space and putting internet and electrical in them just in case, and within 6 months. For the people. So we're usually utilizing all the space that we possibly can, and I hate to stop growing, just because we don't have anywhere to put people. But I don't know if it'll be temporary or permanent. I hope it is only temporary. But I can't answer that right now.
Where do you need furniture or anything like that?
No,
Okay.
we try to take care of ourselves. We don't expect-
There may be some furniture there.
Yeah, there is some.
There is.
Yeah, in Celeste's office, there's.
Yeah.
The reason why I asked that, Jim, is that along with the Lori ROE, the coroner's asked me for some space on the third floor. And we haven't had a complete discussion about what he needs. But he was talking at least probably 2 offices up there.
I know there's another office up there. It's being used for storage, but it's part of cost of storage.
Right.
It was an office.
Right. Well, as soon as I get some more information from the coroner, I was going to bring it up to you guys. I didn't know this was coming in today, but that's fine. I don't have any problem with using those offices up there.
Yeah, I guess the question of temporary versus permanent is one thing to consider. I don't know, I feel like maybe I needed another walkthrough up there if we're talking about all of a sudden 4 offices coming off the third floor in the corner, ROE. And what we're going to have up there. So
My
we
concern
need a
with
decision today.
my concern would be with the corner that I want to see what justifies the need for 2 offices. Being So,
Dave was wanting an office. Right. That's why I say I needed more information from you. That's why I haven't brought it to you guys yet. Just need some more information. Then he was supposed to get back to me on that. There is, excuse me, there is space up there. We do have some room. You know, if we're looking at it like this, I think maybe what you're looking at is a plan for that space. Not just only offices up there, just planning.
I mean, well, let me ask this, you know, plan for that space, elaborate.
I don't have a plan for the space.
No,
I'm just saying, to build a plan for that space, we're talking about moving or 4 offices for 2 elected offices. Up there, just keeping it all organized, that what if a year from now, we're asking for another office?
Right.
We just need to think if we're gonna put them up there, where we're gonna put them, so it makes sense for the future.
Yeah.
And do we need to be thinking about a different permanent solution?
And I don't know how, you know, there's a lot of empty space.
There it is.
I don't know, like temporary offices or what, you know.
Yeah.
Offices being thrown up there as we move. There's a lot of space up there.
So I will say, I mentioned it to our architect, animal control facility. And told him what I was thinking about. And that's part of not having enough information for you guys. That was asking was permanent, that was more permanent. And maybe that needs to become fast track.
I do have one other suggestion,
Yes.
but it involves Amanda. So the election stuff was moved to the back end of our office because it has that loading dock, which is great. But another option would be if we could find her another space with a loading dock for the election stuff. We could build out the back end and have about 6 more offices, and then we would keep everyone over there, and that would be permanent.
Right now, a location for the loading dock.
Oh, I know.
More difficult to
I know,
find.
we've been, yeah, we've had
And,
conversation
we do
about that.
want
Yeah.
We do, but if you know who's in the facility.
I did talk with him, and he just mentioned that they were utilizing the whole space.
They are using the whole building right now. And with buildings and grounds, I think, once the Bunny Break building is going, they'll need a place to store their stuff. And I was thinking, once again, we haven't had this discussion yet. My thought was that last storage in the Ross, there's an area there that's 25 and 25, it would be ideal for buildings and grounds at that point.
You mean the building, the room? or-
Yeah, it's a big storage room.
Yeah, it's that one that we looked at.
And he said for building and grounds.
For buildings and grounds. Yeah. And you really need a loading dock.
I really need a loading dock. I
Right.
didn't get that.
What about a truck with a lift?
I do have a truck with a lift.
That's,
It does work, but it takes a long time.
yeah,
For
I
that,
can imagine.
you know, when you're loading everything, when you're unloading, you're just doing the setting on stuff, but when you're loading it.
So,
And I was officially in that building first.
No, I know. That's
I'm
why
hanging
I keep
on,
asking
hanging
you.
on.
I know. I'm not trying to figure it out. I'm just trying to find a solution.
That's why I bring it here.
Yeah, no, there's some things to think about here.
we need some time to think about this. Art, and we'll see if we can have something by next week. Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, now we'll move down to miscellaneous. Does anybody have anything miscellaneous today? Oh, I do. We talked about the Truro, which was the additional software in the assessor's office. There was another part of that at the last meeting, we talked about Just Appraise. We were going to approve Just Appraise. We found out that that wasn't really a good fit for what we have. The True Roll company is providing us other software. I don't have that information. I should have that information in front of me. True Roll has software that can be added on to their initial software that we've already approved and they're providing for us. That will do the same work that the Just Appraise software. And that was, I don't even know what I'm talking about now because I don't have the information in front of me. But, Josh was supposed to give that information to us. I don't know if he did, if you've seen it. It was about a $19,000, I think a $19,000 adding to that software. I will get that for you guys, and at our next meeting, we'll discuss this. What I was gonna do was we didn't have, it was supposed to be on the agenda today, but it didn't make it. My fault, should have had it on there. I'll get that for us and we'll discuss that in the next one. Just be ready for that. I'll get you the information.
That's the True Roll
The True Roll.
deed service amendment.
What's that?
Is that the deed service amendment?
Yes,
Yeah, he sent that out on 12/2.
My understanding, using True Roll will interface directly with DevNet.
yes.
Just Appraise would not work with DevNet, so we would have had a standalone there and not created the efficiency we were looking for. So
Yeah.
this did, in the initial, what was delivered to me sounded like a better move for the county and for the office.
It did, and it was an addendum, it would be an addendum to that contract. And my question was whether that would need to be a separate agenda item if we could,
Well, it was an amendment to the current agreement.
the current agreement, right? Is that something that needs for approval, or is that something that Josh can do out of his office because he has funds for
I
that?
think because of the cost element.
We need to have board
It would
approval.
need to be.
And that would not fall under strategic budget and strategic planning.
No, I'd love to find a category for it, but I don't think we can,
Okay.
I don't think we can.
Well, that was gonna be my big question was if we had enough information to put in the budget strategic, I wasn't confident we could. Okay, I'll have that for us on the next meeting. Stephanie, could you make sure that gets on the next agenda? Please? Thank you. There is kind of a time element on this. This work needs to get done pretty quick. So we'll have that in the next meeting. And can you guys check to see if you got that email? If you didn't, make sure that you have. I'll just resend it. Stephanie, could you resend that to me? Thank you. Okay, does anybody have anything else for this meeting? I'm done with my list. Anything else? Okay, I'll make a motion that we recess and reconvene at 1:30 for animal control. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Yay.
Jim Rice.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Before I come to the meeting,
You say